The camera pans over the crowded, dusty expanse of the Mariel Harbor refugee camp in Cuba, where hundreds of weary, hopeful faces are gathered. Among them stands Tony Montana, his gaze fixed on the distant horizon with a fierce determination burning in his eyes. As chaos erupts around him, Tony's steely resolve becomes apparent as he exchanges heated words with fellow refugees, refusing to be cowed by the despair that surrounds him. This scene sets the stage for Tony's journey, showcasing his resilience and unyielding spirit in the face of adversity. Inside the stark confines of the Immigration Detention Center, Tony and his friend Manny Ribeiro undergo processing alongside other newcomers to America. Tony's defiance is palpable. As he clashes with the weary officials, his brash confidence is a stark contrast to the subdued resignation of those around him. Tony and Manny find themselves in the heart of Miami's Little Havana, where they are introduced to Frank Lopez, a suave and powerful figure in the city's underworld. Surrounded by the opulence of Frank's lavish estate, Tony's gaze lingers on the glittering promise of wealth and power that lies within his grasp. As Frank offers them a tantalizing opportunity to join his operation, Tony's hunger for success burns brighter than ever, setting the stage for his ascent into the criminal elite. Tony and Manny are tasked with their first assignment. Under Frank's watchful eye, a routine drug deal in a dimly lit alley. As they square off against their wary counterparts, Tony's latent aggression simmers beneath the surface, ready to erupt at a moment's notice. With a mix of charm and menace, Tony asserts his dominance, leaving no doubt that he is a force to be reckoned with in the cutthroat world of Miami's criminal underbelly. Amidst the pulsating beats and neon lights of the Babylon Club, Tony's path crosses with that of Elvira Hancock, Frank Lopez's stunningly beautiful girlfriend. Clad in a gown that drips with elegance, Elvira exudes an air of aloof sophistication that captivates Tony from the moment he lays eyes on her. Their electric chemistry crackles in the air, setting the stage for a tumultuous romance that will intertwine their fates in ways neither could have imagined. A montage of Tony and Manny's meteoric rise in the criminal underworld unfolds before our eyes. From flashy nightclubs to seedy backrooms, they navigate the treacherous landscape of Miami's drug trade with a mix of cunning and ruthlessness. Deals are struck, alliances forged, and enemies vanquished as Tony's reputation as a rising star in the city's underworld continues to grow. But with each step up the ladder, the stakes grow higher, and the shadows of Tony's past threaten to consume him. The once solid partnership between Tony and Frank Lopez begins to fray as tensions simmer beneath the surface. In the opulent surroundings of Frank's mansion, veiled threats and whispered conspiracies give way to open hostility, as the two men vie for control of Miami's lucrative drug trade. With each passing day, the rift between them widens, setting the stage for a confrontation that will shape the future of the city's criminal underworld. Tony's empire is rocked by a brazen assassination attempt, orchestrated by Frank. In a harrowing sequence of events, gunmen descend upon Havana nightclub, unleashing a barrage of bullets that shatter in the middle of the night. Miraculously, Tony emerges from the chaos unscathed, his survival a testament to his cunning and resilience. But as the smoke clears and the dust settles, Tony knows that the battle for control of Miami's streets is far from over. In a bold and audacious move, Tony orchestrates the assassination of Frank Lopez, eliminating his former mentor and seizing control of his empire. In the hallowed halls of Frank's mansion, betrayal hangs heavy in the air as Tony's gunmen unleash a storm of bullets that shatters the tranquility of the night. As Frank falls to the ground, his lifeblood staining the marble floors, Tony's ascension to power is complete, but at what cost to his soul? Tony's meteoric rise to power culminates in the ultimate symbol of success, the sprawling mansion overlooking the shimmering waters of Miami Beach. As he surveys the opulent surroundings with a mix of pride and awe, Tony's ambition knows no bounds. Marble floors, gilded fixtures, and sweeping staircases speak to the heights he has reached in his pursuit of the American dream. But amidst the trappings of his newfound wealth, a darkness lurks, a reminder that success in Miami's underworld comes with a steep price. Against a backdrop of cascading flowers and twinkling lights, Tony and Elvira exchange vows in a lavish ceremony that rivals those of royalty. As they stand before the assembled guests, their love burns bright amidst the opulence that surrounds them. But beneath the surface lies a tempest of passion and ambition, as Tony and Elvira's union becomes a potent symbol of the volatile forces that threaten to tear them apart. In this moment of bliss, the seeds of tragedy are sown, setting the stage for the tumultuous events that lie ahead. With a taste for power and wealth, Tony orchestrates the expansion of his drug empire into new territories. From the neon-lit streets of Miami to the sun-drenched coastlines of Florida, Tony's influence spreads like wildfire, leaving a trail of violence and corruption in its wake. As his operation grows increasingly sophisticated, Tony's grip on the city tightens, cementing his status as one of Miami's most feared and formidable figures. Seeking to fortify his position against his enemies, Tony brokers a dangerous alliance with Alejandro Sosa, a powerful drug lord based in Bolivia. In the shadowy confines of Sosa's compound, Tony pledges his loyalty in exchange for protection and access to Sosa's vast resources. But as he shakes hands with the devil, Tony knows that he's playing a dangerous game with no clear winner, and that the consequences of his alliance may be more than he bargained for. Amidst the swirling chaos of his empire, Tony finds solace in the embrace of his most dangerous vice, cocaine. As he indulges in the white powder that fuels his ambition and numbs his pain, Tony descends into a spiral of addiction that threatens to consume him. Haunted by his demons and tormented by the specter of his own mortality, Tony's thirst for power becomes insatiable, driving him to ever greater extremes in his quest for dominance. Tony's world is shattered by a devastating betrayal of Manny. His loyal friend and confidant is revealed to have been carrying on an affair with his sister behind his back. In a moment of searing anguish and rage, Tony confronts Manny, his voice a thunderous roar of betrayal and hurt. As their friendship crumbles beneath the weight of deception and lies, Tony's heart hardens, and he ends up killing Manny. In the climactic showdown that will determine the fate of Miami's criminal underworld, Tony faces off against his enemies in a battle for survival. As gunfire echoes through the halls of his mansion and the scent of blood hangs heavy in the air, Tony fights with a ferocity born of desperation and despair. But as the smoke clears and the bodies pile up, Tony realizes that the ultimate price of his ambition may be higher than he ever imagined. In the midst of the chaos, tragedy strikes his sister, who was talking weirdly with Tony, falls victim to a hail of bullets. As she lies bleeding on the cold marble floor, her life slipping away, Tony's world shatters around him. In a moment of heartbreaking vulnerability, he cradles her lifeless body, his anguished cries echoing through the empty halls of his mansion. In a blaze of gunfire and fury, Tony Montana, the notorious Scarface, meets his end at the hands of his enemies. Surrounded by the wreckage of his shattered dreams, he falls to the ground, his lifeblood staining the marble floor's crimson. In his final moments, Tony's eyes betray a mixture of defiance and resignation, a testament to the indomitable spirit that defined his tumultuous life.